Hello.
He took Michaela to the hospital. Called them ASAP.
So they do things like this for stress. And this is one of the minions. Stepmom called and told me that this is what he does when I look nice or when, things are ruin my day. It's my day off. If I had a normal life, let me hang up on the minion. Oh, she already hung up. So typically the police would get involved, come in. I don't know why this just came on by itself. Let me go ahead and cut it off. So typically in the past, these are the things that I can't talk about. Someone was deliberately trying to control me emotionally. Okay, so at shelters, they would come in and start arguments. They would create an issue. For example, like let's say that there was not towels for me to bathe with or shower. So they would deliberately withhold towels from me from the shower and then try to put me out over not showering. And I don't have towels to properly shower. So they would create an issue. And then, like, for example, another time I had needed to get my iron. They sabotaged me riding the bus knowing full-blown well because I'm, anemic. And then I would get dizzy, have dizzy spells and all of that. So the hospital told me at one point, which is control, they said that it was because of my iron, why I was dizzy so often. So I needed my iron and they deprived me. They schemed so I couldn't get to Walmart and get the iron at the shelter. There was only times that we could leave. Then after that, they put me out in the middle of their scheme. The police was right there supervising it. I do have the video. I'll put it in the feed. It was a blatant lie. This is the same shelter that would interrupt me trying to speak with victims advocates. Denied me housing, denied me clothes, multiple parties there, thefts, multiple different things. Someone had set some clothes out. They give, normally if someone asks, they give vouchers for clothes where you can go get clothes. So they deprived me of the voucher. Someone accidentally set out some clothes. So I got some clothes and then they would steal those. So, and then I had other clothes that came up missing. So they would deliberately steal items and then even wore them around the shelter to taunt me. They had the people in the same room wear my clothes. So, furious because I got taunted, I told staff they're wearing my clothes, they're stolen. They in the same room that we were in. Bunkies. 2 different ones, he's demented, was wearing my clothes. So what he would do in my environments, if I got all dressed up, I would get detained. The bus would leave me. These are the things that I couldn't communicate. So I get all dressed up because I wanted to feel good about myself. I had all this going on. So then he'd have someone degrade me, a perfect stranger, someone that I didn't know. 2 or 3 times that day, degrade me. There was a man that got on the bus. It was really crowded. He let me have his seat. I said, thank you. He said, well, that's the least I can do to you. You look like an effing man. It was so crowded, bombarded with people that he gave me his seat to sit down. That's the least I can do. You look like an effing man. Mugga, how did you spend your life going through life looking like an effing man? You were on and on and on, degraded in front of, screaming at the top of his lungs. He said this kind of stuff. He set up. So now this person has called me. This is the torture that I'm speaking of. First off, they're committing crimes to keep me away from my child. And not even stepmom has called me and told me that she was missing. This is just my off day. I wasn't trying to go to the police department. All I did was look nice and went out trying to get my some car repair work at each location. It was problems. Forced to have to report that to the police because it's highly criminal for an abuser to be able to enlist parties into his abuse, even just randomly going places for my car to get service. Now they are concocting that my daughter is in the hospital for emotional distress. These are part of some things that I couldn't communicate because I didn't think it was believable. Why would a multitude of people contribute to emotional abuse? They did. Why would someone hire someone to threaten and degrade people in a multitude of with a multitude of people around, down to at Family Dollar being degraded on a loudspeaker? How can you get... This is where I say it's like someone that is running too many people, like a horror movie. So these are the things that I was forced to live in with daily and with no kind of protection from law enforcement. This is what I had to go through. Being forced to live in a tent, then in that community that I had to live in. This man that had took the gun to walk me to my tent. It wasn't because he didn't feel safe around me, because we walked around doing other things together. He gave me a ride every blue moon. So it wasn't he didn't feel safe with whatever was going on with my tent. He had an RV that he was using that he lived in. It wasn't safe for him for me to, to walk me to that tent that wasn't safe. He lived in the RV protected. So he needed his gun. But they had no problems letting this woman with her life in jeopardy live on property in this tent. So one of the things I couldn't communicate, someone would walk around the tent at night. And I had to endure this. It's a thin tent. And whistle and do things to try to scare me. And this is how I had to live. It was torture. So one of the nights, I uploaded the video. There was something, and I'm sure people didn't believe what I was saying. And then they announced that it was a car on property that wasn't their car. That was an unexplained car on property. So someone had came, walked around the tent to church property. So I told the pastor, I told you I was getting stalked. They kept covering for everything. I said, this is proof that I was getting stalked. Someone was walking around the tent. I have the video footage of them whistling and doing all kind of chaos, and you can hear them walking. He said, if you call the police, I'm putting you out. I had nowhere other place I could go on the planet. Every place denied me services except this abusive church where we saw the poisonous water moccasin. That I can't communicate all the things that they did because it's not believable. But anyway, so this is a video diary. Now they've concocted, some people have told me they were dying in malice. It's like he's a compulsive liar and pathological liar, and he's forcing people to be one with him. Like I've had people that say, and then I found out they were lying. I'm dying. What? And then my heart would wrench. But he plays on my heartstrings and gets away with it year after year. So this is just a video diary. They've concocted, my daughter's in the hospital. And they've been playing games like this years.